I offend some people by saying you can have better discussions about spiritual things at a UFO conference than you can at church,
Mm.
because people are predisposed to thinking about big picture questions,
Wow.
that are ultimately and inherently theological.
Now, how I got to know you, um, I was actually looking for more material about Ezekiel's will.
Okay.
And of course, I knew it wasn't UFO, but a lot of people that I deal with have that interpretation. So I was just looking for more
Sure.
material. And you know how, the YouTube, they recommend things, and before you know it, you're going down this rabbit trail.
Hmm.
And then I see you at a UFO conference, a
Yeah.
Christian. I'm like, what is a Christian doing at a UFO conference?
Right.
And that's when I saw you critiquing Zachariah Sitchin, and
Okay.
it was pretty amazing stuff. So, how did you even get involved in those type of arenas?
Yeah, I sort of got sucked into the vortex in 2001. Really, in the wake of writing my novel, my first novel, The Facade.
Mm.
So, I mean, I'd always been interested in anything old and weird, and I had a year to burn, or so I told myself. I had a year to burn on what should have been my dissertation. I had just gotten through prelims, as a doctoral student, and
Mm.
honestly, I was kind of burned out. I didn't really feel like writing anything serious, so I thought, I'm just going to take a year and do this thing I've always wanted to do, and write a novel. I had a late night third shift security job.
Wow.
I had it for years. I worked full time, 15 years going through grad school. I listened to Coast AM. I was
Wow.
just, I was real familiar with all that stuff. I had a command of ancient texts. I'd always been into UFOs, and I just thought I'm going to throw it all into a blender and just, have fun with it. But the shtick was everything has to be real. It's just what I do with the data points. And so I wrote this novel, and it was kind of like just a personal thing. I had a friend read it, and they said, "Hey, you should, try to get on the Art Bell show." It was the Art Bell show then, Coast to Coast. And I thought, oh, that'd be fun. And we thought it was kind of a joke, because we thought he'd be surrounded by a phalanx of, people, like we'd never get to him. So
Right.
my
Right.
friend sent an email off, and then like 2 days later, I'm coming back from school, and my wife meets me at the door and says, "You're not going to believe who I just got off the phone with. It was Art Bell.
Right.
And he wants you to call him back." So I did. Sure enough, it's Art, and then the rest is sort of history. I wound up going on the show. I've been on the show 34 times now,
Wow.
and I've sort of turned into the nice Bible debunking nonsense guy, and it's always ancient aliens and stuff like that. Even with George, George Norrie's the host now.
Mm.
But once I did that the first time, then I started getting invitations to speak at UFO conferences. And the thing that your listeners should know is nobody vetted me.
Oh wow.
Nobody vetted me at all, and so I'm getting all these invitations, and I accepted a few. I thought it would be fun,
I mean, did they
but
know what you was bringing to the?
who apparently not, because they,
Wow.
the first one I did was the Bay Area UFO conference, and it was the week after 9/11.
Mm.
So like it was really hard to get there. It was in San Francisco, and I was in
Wow.
Wisconsin. And I wound up doing two sessions. One was, could Christianity accommodate a genuine extraterrestrial disclosure? Where I had the surreal experience of going through the gospel the Romans wrote in front of 500 people at a UFO conference.
Wow.
And then the other one was the Zechariah Sitchin thing. And I was asked to leave.
Really?
Yeah, I was told in no uncertain terms would I ever be invited back.
Wow.
But nobody vetted me. Nobody did anything like that. I mean, I've since been at other conferences, and they sort of know what they're getting. And I typically go because I'm friendly to the question of extraterrestrial life.
Right.
I don't see it as a theological problem, but I hammer the ancient alien stuff, because that's, to me, that actually cheapens
Mm.
and makes ridiculous a legitimate question. It's a
Mm.
cartoon. It's the cartoon version of the actual discussion
Mm.
that really needs to happen. So that's sort of how I got, sucked into it. But it's, I'm happy to do it. They're fun. The people at UFO conferences, I can count on one hand the people I've run into that I thought probably needed therapy, like really, or might be dangerous.
Wow.
Everybody else is just very normal. I offend some people by saying you can have better discussions about spiritual things at a UFO conference than you can at church, because people are predisposed to thinking about big picture questions, that are ultimately and inherently theological. So it's a good thing, I think to have, Christians involved in.